to have the opportunity to try the suit on again. So you're like, does fit? How does this fit? And it fit good. And then as it gets to that day where you start filming and it's time to start, then you get to put John Wick on. There's that guy. When we were working on John Wick, we didn't know if we would have a chance to continue the story.
When I decided to do the first movie, it never occurred to me that it would turn into this kind of juggernaut franchise.
Oh my God, this is so cool, like the world and the characters and the action. It was very unexpected.
People love that we use really long takes in the action and they can see what's going on in the entire background, and that we show our actors' faces and they can tell that our leads are actually doing the action.
But when you see John Wick doing all the massive fight choreography and the longer takes, that's actually Keanu Reeves. He is performing at his optimal ability.
When this movie first came out, everyone I knew said, if you want to see real combat, people really doing the work, you gotta watch this movie.
Over the years of doing the John Wick training, I've gotten better. So I'm really the ceiling. You've got to be better to realize the vision, because then the character and the story can be more profound.
John Wick movies are always really challenging. We put so much time and effort. We poured our soul into it.
What are you doing, John?
This has heart, intelligence, story.
We got really lucky with Keanu playing John Wick and how audiences embraced him. He's definitely penetrated the zeitgeist with his iconic black suit and the facial hair and the love of dogs.
You steal his car and kill his mom.
The fucking nobody?
That fucking nobody is John Wick.
He goes on a rampage, dragging him out from retirement.
John Wick was the best assassin in this world.
The Baba Yaga, the boogeyman, the myth, this legend who's now back. In Chapter 2, John's past comes to call on him through a marker.
No one comes back without repercussions.
He's been drawn back into the world of the assassins.
John Wick. You're not very good at retiring.
I'm working on it.
John Wick broke the most important cardinal rule, which is you can't kill on the continental grounds, which turns not only friends and enemies, but the entire world against him.
Jonathan, what have you done?
Chapter 3 takes place literally like a couple of hours after the last film finished.
At the opening of John Wick 3, we see what the results of that decision are.
Excommunicado is now in effect.
A network-wide contract out on John Wick.
14 million. Open contract.
All the assassins can kill this man for some money.
And what we see is how he navigates his way through the sea of vipers. You want to root for John Wick, no matter how dire the circumstances become. You just want him to get out of it.
One of the things that we wanted to do was let the audience into a little more of the backstory.
We try to leave little breadcrumbs in each of the films to kind of hint where we believe the characters come from.
This character named the Director was developed.
She's actually a theatrical director based on this theater where certain children are trained certain ways. That should lead to a little bit of a hinting where we think John Wick comes from.
Why have you come home?
I still have my ticket.
To have the chance to work with Angelica Houston. And the scenes that we had, which were so dramatic, you know, rich in past and rich in the stakes of the moment.
Even if I wanted to, I can't help you, Jadani.
Each of the major cities around the world has a continental hotel, a place of refuge where you can have that moment of calm before you have to step back out on the streets and defend yourself.
An eye for an eye, John. You know how it goes.
The world of the Continental is more explored this time.
We always joke that in the first movie we had a lobby and a room. The second one, we got to have a few more rooms. And now with the third one, we have the Continental. It's fun to just go bigger and bolder.
Each one of them increased the amount of world building on a really unique and interesting level.
The gold coins, the speakeasy. With each movie, what can we infuse into each film?
There is an adjudicator here to see.
We were going to go into the world of the high table.
We introduced the character of the adjudicator, who represents and expresses the wishes of the high table.
You gave him an hour to escape.
John breaks one of the most hard and fast rules in the Continental. All his privileges have been revoked. There's nowhere to hide.
Question was, well, how can he survive? We had the chance to go to Morocco.
Welcome to Casablanca, Mr. Wick.
I had this vision of John Wick walking in a desert. I don't know where it came from, but I loved it.
We love the contrast of New York night with Morocco. The sun, tropical, rolling sand dunes.
We love shooting on location, and we love finding different ways that we can expand the world of John Wick.
And the desert loves him.
We weren't sure for the first two sandstorms if the desert loved us.
But
Mustafa says the desert loves us.
John goes to the ends of the earth. For me, action has always been about if I'm there, then that connection between the audience and I and the character is close, is connected. Visceral, emotional impact.
He knows a golden rule that very few even directors know. There's no separation between story and action. But if he's out there doing his action, you're going to believe in the character.
I went into the training at least 5 months before. The physicality, the martial arts, and then the weapon work. All of the time that I've put in, I'm just better at it.
Keanu trains his ass off. When we train him, we'll go for hours and hours and hours, and he just won't stop. It's amazing.
It really was one of the hardest training I've done because there's a lot more action in Parabellum than there is in the other two films.
He trains for months. He does his own action. He is the most committed person that I've ever worked with. He does 98% of everything you see on screen.
As we were developing the story, we came up with this character, someone that could help him. And Chad had the idea of Halle Berry, which was awesome.
I can't tell if I hired Halle or she hired me.
When Chad reached out to me and asked me about the third one, I went running over there. And I was like, I don't even need to see the script, just sign me up. I want to be in this world.
That was a very exciting day for us because she's such a wonderful actress.
I should shoot you in the head right now.
Some people say they want to do John Wick training, and then it starts. And then they're like, oh, this is John Wick training. And when Halle said she wanted to do that, Chad said, here you go. And Halle said, thank you, sir. Can I please have some more?
Probably the hardest 6-7 months I think I've experienced in my professional life. I kept going because I would just not quit.
The best way to fake being good is just to be good. And that takes sweat, blood, and tears. It's a level of commitment that is not normal.
If you can say it, I've been doing it. I had to learn to fight one like Keanu, and I had to learn to fight with him in very close proximity. They're very much a team. This is just hard as shit. But it's also a lot of fun, and I have a great team of people that are teaching me and training me.
Not only did she have to do the physical martial arts training, she had the dogs.
I have these Belgian Malinois that I've been working with, and they're ferocious looking, and they're doing some amazing stunts, but they're also really sweet.
That added another level to the stunt team.
I would spend 4 days a week out there with the dogs, 2-3 hours a day. As the trainers were learning who they were, I was learning who they were, so that I could command them just like the trainers could command them. It was a real relationship that was built.
When we were finishing chapter 2, one of the wacky, kooky, wonderful ideas was, I was like, okay, the park, let's get John on a horse. So there was the martial arts part, there was the weapons part. Halle had the dogs, and I had the horse training. I've had the opportunity to train for riding on previous films. That's like riding. Do a walk, control, and a canter. This one was like, yeah, you've got to get off the saddle, go sideways, and hold on to the neck or something, and then shoot somebody. And that was next level. Chad wanted to bring in ninjas. This character named Zero was developed. And Chad thought of Mark Dacascos, who has a profound martial arts background.
As a martial artist, I totally appreciated the choreography and the hard work that everybody on screen put into, which is why I think the John Wick movies are so special.
He with you?
He was.
This idea of Zero's students who could become the ninja or shinobi. Chad was like, let's reach out to Yeon and Chep, who I came exposed to in the raid.
People in the world know about John Wick, right? So very excited for this.
In John Wick, this looks like real martial art. It's not fake martial art.
It was also important to find someone who could go toe-to-toe with Keanu in these fights.
So we thought the coolest place to hide ninjas was a place that you can't hide anything, which is an entire house made out of glass. I think it's a very good reference to ninjas and what they can do optically and hide their presence.
We just want a lot of glass breaking.
Lambat dia sekarang. Harusnya dia sudah pensiun 5 tahun lalu.
Cinema is rich in traditions. What has come before? I saw a picture called Villainous, and it turned out that Chad had seen it.
Villainous was a great action movie, and they had a great motorcycle sequence in it. The first couple times we watched it, me and my stunt team, my VFX team, were impressed, like, oh, that was a really cool idea. This is tipping our hat to them. Here's our little ode to you. Good fucking job.
They designed this motorcycle sequence, which was new for us.
We have a bike chase, which we shut down the Verrazano Bridge for.
So it's motorcycles with swords. It's been a real honor, and I'm grateful for the audience that has given the opportunity to continue to explore the world of John Wick. It's a great pleasure. I can just tell you it's really fun to work on John Wick.
Anything you see on that screen, it's my choice, what I love. It's what Keanu loves. It's what we loved about movies. It's what we reminisce about when we grew up, whether it's the cowboy, the hero, the great shot against the sunset, the motorcycle chase, the kung fu from the kung fu movies. Wick is a big stewing pot of everything we love growing up about cinema.
We push these films creatively, emotionally, psychologically, as far as we could take it.
I seek to make amends, to pay for what I've done.
You're gonna die, John. Whether out here on this desert or somewhere else down the road. But you are gonna die.
See this packet. Parabellum.